So let me start with a story. There was once a young girl, around 16, who loved to nap. Naps were not a hobby, they were a lifestyle. One afternoon, when no one else was home, she decided to take a nap, forgetting one very small detail, that she had left milk boiling on the stove. So right on schedule, her mother arrived home from work, only to find the door locked from inside, a strong burning smell in the air, and thick fumes pouring out through the window. For the next 40 minutes, there was non-stop yelling, knocking, panic, until with the help of neighbors, the door latch was finally broken. Inside, chaos. But there she was, sleeping in absolute glory. Peaceful, carefree, completely unaware of the fact that she had almost burned the house down. That day, her mother, worried sick, prayed. And she prayed hard, and I quote, "May you land a job that makes you wake up before the sun wakes up in the morning." Unquote. Well, guess what, guys? My mother's wishes did come true, and if you haven't guessed it till now, yes, that girl was me. So before most people wake up, I step into a machine that does not forgive hesitation. Up there in my office, there are no places to hide, no second chances. Every decision matters. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Captain Hansja Sharma, a proud combat helicopter pilot of the Indian Army. It's a job that sounds thrilling, and honestly, it is. But it's also a job that's filled with responsibility, challenges, and lessons that go way beyond flying. And believe me, I didn't start out thinking that this would be my life. I started out as just a middle-class girl asking herself one quiet question. What if I try? कोशिश करने में क्या जाता है? See, guys and girls, most of us present here, we belong to a generation watching success in fast forward. I'm talking about Instagram reels, YouTube shorts, overnight success stories. But what we don't see behind that reel is the buffering screen. Today, I'm going to talk to you about that buffering screen. Those hardships, those challenges that you face before you finally achieve success. The struggle that precedes success. Because it's not a detour. It's not a glitch in life. It's part of the process. And this very philosophy, it's not just the theme of today's talk, but also one of my core beliefs. Struggle precedes success. My entire childhood, I've been a studious IAS aspirant. Getting good grades in 10th and 12th, topping all my courses. But none of it came easy. We were a small middle-class family in the scorching summers of Jammu and Kashmir with one recently bought air conditioner. So at night, I used to sit on the floor to study on the doorway. Half of my body inside the room where my family used to sleep so that I could catch the cool air from the AC. And the other half outside where the light was on so that I could actually study. Good times, yeah. But the real pivot point came in college. That's where I was exposed to the world beyond textbooks. I became obsessed with extracurriculars. Joined the university theatre group, the college chess team, the debate team, whatnot. All the while maintaining my top 3 in academics. But then NCC happened, National Cadet Corps. And it was through NCC that I got a real insight into the army. That made me rethink my life goals. Because 20 years ahead, I could not imagine myself sitting behind a desk doing a routine job, absolutely immobile. I wanted something more. I wanted purpose. The purpose of serving the nation. I wanted adventure. And what the army offers, it's not just a career. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of living life less ordinary. However, it's easier said than done and easier thought than said. So clearing the medicals and making it to the merit list was far more challenging than clearing the interview itself. And it was during this phase that my family was hit by a severe financial crisis. It had become difficult to make even both the ends meet. And so I started giving home tuitions for paying for my semester fees, while also pursuing masters from the university. And at the same time, I was also running, quite literally day and night, so that I could reduce weight for my medicals. And as if that wasn't enough, I was suddenly told that I needed to undergo a nasal surgery. Because as per the reports, my nasal septum was quote unquote deviated, which if you ask me, was in perfect shape, absolutely flawless. So fast forward to getting selected and joining the academy, to endure one grueling year of training that transformed a chubby girl with the casual demeanor into a polished soldier grounded in core values. Thanks to the rigorous Ragda sessions, or shall I say punishment sessions. You name an animal, and trust me, you have a punishment in its name. Crab walk, monkey crawling, crocodile walk, camel carry, frog jump, whatnot. So at times, there were actually times when I used to during the fag end of my training, that was after my year-long training, I faced another major setback. I got relegated. To put it simply, I faced one of the physical tests. And so I had to endure another 6 months of my term. This test, which was known as horizontal rope, very simple concept on paper. You hang your body on one end of a rope which is tied horizontally between two poles. You lift your body with the help of your core strength. You wrap your legs around it. You traverse and then repeat. Simple, unless you're the one hanging there. So I was given multiple attempts. I could not pass, and so I had to repeat the term. The next 6 months, I gave everything, my body, my heart, soul, everything into passing that test. Diet reduced to bare minimum, sugar completely out of life, working out day and night. At some point, it stopped becoming a physical test. For me, it became an opportunity to understand my limits and to unlearn them completely. To push myself so hard that when the test came again, I passed it in one go. I remember crying hard that day. Because this time, this success was sweeter. The struggle had made it sweeter. Repeating the term had made it sweeter. So when I passed out, COVID struck, and so my family couldn't attend the ceremony where they proudly uncover the stars on your shoulders and they pip you. That absence hurt. My first posting was in a counter-terrorism environment in Kashmir. My initial days were filled with sleepless nights. Night after night, I had to climb a small hillock, at the periphery of which there were multiple guard posts that I had to check. Often through snow that rose up to your knees. Walking in it itself was difficult, let alone climbing it multiple times throughout the night. That phase stretched me. Physically, yes, but more than that, mentally. And today, when I retrospect, I realized something very important. That blockade was never physical. It was mental. It was all mental. It was all in my mind. Friends, how many times have you faced a problem that in that moment felt enormous, like the world is ending? Maybe the menstrual cramps you had, or the fever you get just the night before the exam, or the test you've been dreading for months. But then when you look back, you almost laugh at it, at how small the problem actually was. Not because it wasn't real, but because it wasn't impossible. It was all in your mind. So it was during my first posting that the avenue for flying finally opened up for women officers in the army. And as I had this quiet habit of asking myself, what if I try? So I did. I had this knack for flying and aircraft. So after clearing the requisite medicals and tests, I got into the flying training school. But that's when reality hit. I remember asking myself, What was I thinking? Why did I get into this? Because I struggled badly. While my peers were progressing smoothly, they had almost started to make normal takeoffs, normal landing approaches. I was still struggling to maintain a steady hover. For those unfamiliar, a hover is when the helicopter maintains perfectly still in one spot. Sounds simple? Well, it isn't. So there were moments when I seriously considered giving it all up and going back to basic ground duties. But I knew one thing, that I owed myself one fair shot. 100% of my effort. And so I tried. I studied harder, practiced harder, burnt the midnight oil. And as we all know, hard work never goes waste, which is also the second philosophy of my life that I believe in. The harder you work, the luckier you seem to get. And so on 29th November 2023, I passed out of the institution with flying colors, with the coveted wings on my chest and the Silver Cheetah Trophy. And the Silver Cheetah Trophy in my arms for standing first in merit, becoming the first woman officer to achieve that title. So this time, my family was there to witness that moment shaped entirely by struggle, by the hardships and challenges I had overcome. My first bird was the Advanced Light Helicopter, also called Dhruv. I knew what I was getting myself into, because the missions therein are not cakewalk. Medical and casualty evacuations come at the most unexpected hours. You have to carry insertion and extraction of small teams in the most unforgiving terrain. And rescues are often carried out at places where nowhere else to land, except the skill, the precision, and trust in the machine and crew. You may all remember the daring evacuation of the Army helicopter last year in the flood-hit areas of Punjab, where it rescued standard CRPF civilians from the rooftop of a collapsing building. One moment it was there, and the next moment it was gone. That moment inspired the nation. What inspires me even more was that those officers were from my own unit. They might have saved a few lives that day, but they definitely motivated countless others, including me. So friends, whenever life throws a hurdle at me, now I don't look at it as a setback anymore. I take it as a signal that something better is being shaped on the other side of that struggle. This mindset, backed by relentless hard work, an immense support from my family, and an immense impetus from my organization has transformed my journey. It has led me to a privilege that I never take lightly, of becoming the first woman combat pilot of the Indian Army. Today, I fly the Advanced Light Helicopter, Weapon Systems Integrated, also called Rudra. It's a bird that's built not to observe, but to hunt. Let me show you a video that captures the feelings I get in the cockpit when I fly that bird. Amazing, isn't it? So up there, we don't just fly, we hunt. We feel the thump of the guns, the roar of the rockets, and the blaze of missiles cutting through the sky. Every moment, the cockpit vibrates with purpose, and it tells me that this bird is a hunter, and I am one with it. So ladies and gentlemen, whenever you see success in fast forward, remember one thing, that behind that reel is the buffering screen. And if you are in that buffering phase right now, hold on, enjoy, make the most of it. Because let me tell you, success is like a dessert, which tastes best after you've had a challenging main course. The turbulence doesn't mean the flight is failing. It means that you're still climbing. That is success through struggle. Let me leave you all with one question to ponder over. If you had to take one brave step today towards achieving your aim, what would that be? Thank you and Jai Hind.